I'm Jako.
But it's definitely a turn on to have a good conversation with someone. Discussing feelings or topics or experiences or sharing experiences. Yeah.
Is conversation your foreplay?
Definitely.
Instead of just speaking to you.
Can I also just, sorry, interrupt you and say...
Talk about this. You can have a freaking orgasm in your office, in a taxi, in your car. No, have phone sex. No. Yes. It's also another way of bringing the two together and being intimate. Because I found that the best intimacy has nothing to do with the physical. So, phone sex.
Really with the idea of monogamy as something that, well, as I said, I'm Jako and that's my partner over there, Joe. Wave to Joe. Hi, Joe.
Sexy Joe. Phone sex. Actually, it's funny. A friend of mine asked me earlier when she saw that I was holding, she's like, do you know how to do that? Like, is it even possible? And then I remember the first thought that came into my mind was like, honey, I'm gay, therefore I can't meet somebody off the street. It's usually through the net. Or somebody told me that, hey, that one, you know, she's about that life. Anyway, phone sex. This is beautiful, just by the by.
Yeah, it is.
It's freaking awesome. I've only had the privilege of doing it with just one person.
Yeah.
And
you enjoyed though.
I found things in myself that I was like, really? That can happen. But what I'm trying to say is this is it's beautiful, and I think that maybe it does not necessarily have to be long distance as what some of us are accustomed to. It can just be like honey left to go to work in the morning, and then honey's on a break. Hello, baby. How you doing? And you know that when your person or whatever, when she left the house and whatnot, you told her don't wear any underwear. Yeah. You know, because you know. And basically, what I'm trying to say is this is you can. It's really real. The emotions of it. It's. I like that lubricant word. You can talk about it the whole day and tell her to stop so that you guys can pick it up when she gets home. And then she gets home and then we'll deal with the whole, hi, how was your day?
Business. So don't trust me as a starting point. Okay. Yeah, but I suppose why I'm talking about relationships, or I think Nosana invited me, is because I've been with Joe for 11 years. Which brings me to the next point. Time is not necessarily either, you know, a good source for expertise. It doesn't mean that just because you've been in a relationship for a long time, that now this is fantastic. Because there are many people that have been in relationships for longer than me, like my parents, for instance, that are fundamentally unhappy. You know, so I suppose the other thing about a relationship is that one ought to be happy, most of the time at least. You know? Because nobody's ever happy all the time. Alright, so then it beckons the question, I suppose, what is a healthy relationship? Does anybody know?
Yes. Lots of sex.
I think I do.
Yeah, lots of sex.
Yeah, you may say a lot of sex, but
okay, transsexual to me, we all know that transsexual are like, maybe you believe that you are assigned to the wrong gender and everything. And trust me, I have so many imaginary girlfriend. It's not even funny. I even have a transgender girlfriend, so it's easier for me because we go through this stuff imaginary. So to me, like being transsexual, it's not a wrong thing. If you believe that you are trapped in a wrong body, you can change that if you want to. If you don't want to change it, it's fine. And you can go on and live your life the way you want it. To me, it's not a sin, it's fine. You can change your body. And for me, as a girl, I don't mind dating someone who will change their bodies or whatsoever. I wouldn't mind that. if you're a girl, you have, if I love you, you have a vagina and then you want to change it into a penis. If I love you, fine, baby, you can fuck me all night, it's fine. Don't do it. You're my girlfriend afterwards. I fell in love with you, not with what you have.
And it's true, yes. I mean, I'm honest, I'm loyal to Joe, but what does it really define?
That's the thing, because I wanted to ask that question. What do you define as loyalty? Because we may decide that in our relationship we're not going to be monogamous. Because I believe that a relationship is not necessarily about being with one person and being with, and being like,
Absolutely.
you can decide to say, I think a relationship is actually composed on, so many things, so many aspects. You may want to spend your life with a person because you're so much intellectually attracted to the person, you are, spiritually connected to that person. But for some reason you feel like I'm attracted sexually to someone else, and I just want to have that moment with that person and just, for that moment and be out of it. You understand what I mean? Yeah. And if my partner understands that it was just for that, it doesn't mean that there is anything wrong with our relationship, because that is an agreement. It should actually come where we actually come and discuss and come to a mutual understanding. For me, that is actually the most important part.
I couldn't agree more.
What he just said, I think the problem also comes from that needs to be said from the onset.
There are no rules. There are no morality. Who makes up morality? There are people that says this is the stereotypical or normality of a relationship, and those things were not designed for us, were they? They were not designed for us, and I don't think even they were designed for straight people. It's an idea that somebody came up with a white dress and all this stuff, and forms of commitment or words of commitment, but for nobody, so that we can be kept in boxes.
Yeah.
So my idea is, invent your own. First of all, deconstruct the idea of normality. That's the beginning of a relationship. Because when you walk in, exactly as you said that, it's two individuals, or three individuals, or whatever the case might be. But it's individuals that are coming from a past, a very complex past, that's not the same. It's first about the difference. Because that's what you love about the other person. You fall in love with that person. You start a relationship because that person is not you. Otherwise, the tool would be great for monogamy again. You don't need a person. Yeah. You fall in love because of difference. So why don't we celebrate it, and why don't we celebrate the difference of our own type of relationship? So that's my first little thing that I realized, or think, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it summarized kind of what everybody is saying. So I don't know if somebody wants to contribute. Yes?
I can put it brilliantly. What works for me would not necessarily work for me. And I think it comes back to the point of the previous speaker when she was talking about gender fluidity and not conforming. We are I think the society has sort of constructed the standards because it's so easy to say, okay, it's a male, it's a female. A female has to do this, a male has to do this, and this is how. And we are so much confined into those spaces. And as humans, we evolve and we explore things. And because of these norms that we actually have set, that are set by the society, we find ourselves being imprisoned and we are not liberated to be who we are. You understand what I'm saying? So it is actually our task that we really need to start to break those boxes that we've actually built for ourselves, and to sort of, distract those
Confines.
It's this and this is that. We do not allow people to be who they are and to express themselves in their utmost best.
In my first relationships, relationships that nonetheless were flawed, obviously, as they were my first and second and third relationships, I really honestly based them on the idea of what a good Afrikaner person should do. Like I'm not straight. I'm not my father or my mother. Although people always ask that question, as you say, who's the boy and who's the girl? Which is a very complex situation, but everyone has to go into those binaries. But I really based it on the idea of, you know, how does a normal relationship look? And this is the fundamental problem, you know, what is normality to start off with? But you know, it's like, okay, so everybody dress nice, you don't want to dress too splashy because then you're gay, you know? So you want to fit in, although you've got a boyfriend, you want to kind of slip that boyfriend in the society, and then after a while they go like, oh, you've got a boyfriend, we never know. We didn't know that, when did that happen? Like, it's always been here, but look, we go to church, we buy healthy food, we drive a safe car, that's why you look like a fridge. We have all the things that's standard and nice, but it's not true. Because in those confinements, as they were not designed for us, or for anybody really, you just start to destruct each other. You start to go like, but I've got an issue, and where do I base my issue on? And then you go to these normalities, these rules, and they don't work. You know? So that's my first rule. There aren't no rules.
Yeah.
Our relationship, which I'll say something about context as well. We said, what we're not going to do is we're not going to have that chat. You know, that stereotypical chat where you go through, and then I slept with this, and then I slept with that, and then everybody gets angry at you. You know, your partner goes like, why did you sleep with that? You weren't there. I didn't even know you at that stage. I didn't even know who I'm now at that stage, so how can you judge me? Because it's a context, so you can't discriminate. You know, so we had a decision, we're not going to have that chat. It will kind of come to the fore as we develop through the relationship, you know, as we come into a situation and you suddenly remember, oh dear, gibberish, I slept with that person. Possibly now is a good time to inform. You know, Joe.
Comes a context where people tend to judge you that you did this in the past and that in the past. And one thing that most people don't realize is that in order to be somebody and be wise and make a great choice, you actually have to go back and make those stupid mistakes.
Absolutely.
You are human after all.
The other one. I want to get to the sixth one, because the sixth one will also answer stuff. Let me think, what's the other one?
No rules.
No rules, but that's the beginning. These are the borderlines, right? All right, let's leave the fifth one. It's obviously none other than important. Let's go to the sixth one. The most important thing, more than love, more than passion, more than anything else, is caring. And to come to that point of monogamy, it's through caring. It's not because somebody said, or somebody wrote a norm, or somebody told me to have a good relationship, you should be monogamous. That was my decision in my relationship. And it wasn't like, I'm never going to sleep with anybody. I'm not sure. Maybe tomorrow I will sleep with somebody else. Maybe. I don't know. So there's no rules. There aren't any rules, and we'll develop them as we carry on. The reason why I'm not sleeping with anybody else is because I'm caring for both the relationship and for Joe. But it's our understanding of what caring is. That means I don't want to harm him. So if sleeping with somebody is going to harm him, I'm not going to do that. But if not sleeping with somebody is going to harm me, we have to have a discussion because we're equals, right? So we need that conversation, because once again, it's a process. And Joe has a beautiful thing, and we fight. You know, we've shouted maybe 11 times in 11 years. Very, very seldomly. It makes me really scared. My parents used to shout, so when people shout, I'm like, I'm small. And I don't like it. So we don't do that. We do ignore each other. We go to bed angry. People say never do that. We do it often. But whenever I say something, Joe has a beautiful rule, and his rule is, this person cares for me first.
Going back to communication being the crux of the matter, it's very important, because if I'm in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship with her exclusively. I don't want to share her with someone else, because I mean those are the perks of being in a relationship, is that you see her naked, or you're the only one that sees her naked besides her mom, you know. But I mean those are the perks of being in a relationship exclusively with someone, you know. And I think that people should find ways of dealing with certain issues instead of adding people, because I tend to find that if you add someone in your relationship, that's when it all goes wrong. So it should stay between the two people. Work it out, even if tempers flare, it's okay. But at the end of the day, you will, you know, reach a common ground. You understand? And for me, I found in my relationship that being honest has really, really helped me a lot. Yeah. You know, it's taken a load off my shoulders. You know, and I find that we are actually happier that we are honest with each other. You know, because we talk about stuff that bother us. We talk about things that we want to change. Because make no mistake, if I'm in a relationship, I'm not gonna follow what you do because you're my girlfriend, you know. I'm still going to make my own decisions, you know. You're not going to influence me. So I think that communication channel was extremely extremely important, so that's, yeah.
I want to say, like Liesl said in the beginning, there should be loyalty and honesty and all those things. And it's true, but why? Because you care. You want to be honest because you care. If you don't care, honesty becomes just a burden. It just becomes something that, so it's about the care. And as I say, it's not always about the love, because you can sacrifice the love for the passion. You can go like, oh, we haven't slept for a week, we haven't had any sex, so, and then you can sacrifice love, but you can't sacrifice care. So you have to keep that care in mind.